Keith Clickstein, thanks for joining us. So you worked with Jimmy D, Hampshire, Hunter Lawrence, and Plessinger. Those are, and Vince Freeze too.
Last
So
five riders. Yep.
that's a pretty good lineup of personalities right there. Did you have any say in that, or was that luck of the draw?
I kind of think that the managers paired us up a little bit, as the riders kind of what they needed. Their personalities are all kind of similar. They're not, super ego guys. So I've had success with all of them. I think they're all great dudes to work for, and I would do it again if, the opportunity, we kind of got separated ways on nothing that was in our control, basically.
Mm-hmm. What was unique about wrenching with AP?
He was just so happy, there was never I shouldn't say there wasn't bad days. We had tough days, but he left it all out on the track. He accepted it, and and he wasn't too happy. He showed up the next day and he was all smiles, and we move on. And he made things a lot easier for me to work for a new guy, a new team, and just keeping him chilling and vibing. He's got such a cool personality. Everybody loves to talk to him, and so I think just the connection we had as being, we worked together, but we also had a good friendship out of it. So I think that's most important of what we had together.
Was there any one race or one day that kind of stands out to you as a little bit of a special story?
I would have to say his first podium at Daytona. We that team worked really hard together, and there were some things that we believed in and pushed on AP, and it all came together. And then it showed for AP at that race, where he was able to, he had a great heat race and a great main event, where if it wasn't for Cooper Webb, we would have probably had a second, but, first podium, he looked like he was the man for the night. So it was a good night for him.
How does somebody become a factory mechanic? Is there a standard path that you can follow, or do you need to kind of luck into it a little bit?
It's kind of tough to say. I've seen kids come right out of school and get a job with a factory team, which, I didn't have that kind of career. I worked with Jimmy for a long time, and, I didn't think I deserved to go to a factory team at such a young age. I feel like I needed to really kind of prove myself, and me and Jimmy put in some good results. And I thought, all right, we did it out of a van. We've done it with half the, no budget. And we put in good results. We have good bikes. It's different. I think the best thing to do is still to go to school, get an education on it. And then it's a tough sport to make it in, because, realistically, it's dry as far as money. Mechanics struggle for a long time. Trying to make enough money to pay your bills. That some people don't even get paid. And then there's an opening with a team, and it's word of mouth. This is a good guy. You can trust him, and then they get their shot.
And it's not even just a money thing; it's also a huge sacrifice. Being on the
exactly.
road as much as you are.
For a long time, I didn't sleep in my own bed we were on the couch at somebody's house, kind of just winging it. And you're away from your family, you're away from your girlfriends. All
right, so I want to go back to talking about you a little bit. We're both New England guys. You were working with Jimmy D. What was that like? I know we're kind of going back a few years, but let's talk about working with Jimmy D.
So me and Jimmy grew up in the same town, and we actually became friends. I knew his older sisters through school, and then I knew his dad from working at a local bike shop. And I saw Jimmy one day. I think he was actually riding his pit bike on the streets. And I
Sounds
drove
about
by
right.
him. Yeah, right. So I drove by, and I was like, "Hey, bud, you actually want to go ride some dirt?" And he's like, "Yeah, take my number down. Give me a call." And we end up linking up, and we rode together. And he was he was like 12 or something, and I just got my license. I was only 16, and yeah, we started riding together, and then I was over the house quite a bit. You know, they had everything they need for motocross. So he was riding all the time, and I kind of just jumped in, and being living across town 10 minutes away, I mean, it probably would have never worked out if that wasn't the case. But you know, we're now townies, and we took it to a whole nother level, which I think neither of us really knew that we were going to do that. But you know, looking back, I mean, like what we went through.
Admittedly, I feel like I kind of jumped on the wave and rode it with you there.
Oh, absolutely. So how many trips to Loretta's did we have that, you know,
All over the place.
driving through the night. I mean, I remember doing Loretta's through the night, Texas. I mean, it's crazy. I think I got 100,000 miles, 200,000 miles with that kid sleeping in the in the passenger seat.
So at the pro level, how was that working with him?
It was good because we both had to really, shape up. We had so much fun riding, and then all of a sudden it was like, hey, you're actually a lot better than we think. You know, he's done Loretta's and he got like a 10th, and you know, we showed up at the first round of Supercross in 2010, and were you with us? You might have been with us, but
Which city was it?
Indy.
No, I wasn't there for that one.
So, you know, we had a winter training in California. We had Rhino as the trainer. You know, we rode Supercross for 5 months. Showed up there and we thought, all right, man, like, let's make the night show, right? Let's put ourselves in the night show. I think that's a good goal. And he ended up qualifying 36th.
Yeah. I had myself muted, but I said such high expectations. You're just trying to make the night show.
Yeah. So exactly, we're like, we'll just, if we can make the night show and then, you know, see where we're at there, like kind of. So he actually did. He qualified 36, which he made the night show, and then we go into the heat race, and somehow we lucked out that we were actually like maybe right in the middle of the inside, so like maybe 6 to the inside box, and it was first heat, and I was like, dude, just get out there and rip it. And everyone goes in, and it was a sharp 90, and it seemed like he actually didn't have the greatest start, and everyone just kind of pushed, and then Jimmy was able to dip inside all of them, and then before you know it, I'm like, oh man, he's in 4th, here we go. So he's racing, and I think it was Barsha and Stroop that were getting into it a little bit with block passes, and Jimmy did a 2-for-1 pass, and all of a sudden we found ourselves in the lead, and I'm at this point, I'm like, I can't even ride on the pit board. I'm just throwing my hands up there like crazy, like screaming and yelling. And he led the heat race for 4 laps, and he ended up finishing 2nd to Barsha. And you know, after that, we were just like, you're in the main. And I think he ended up getting 20th, and which the highlight was the heat, right? I mean, everything was, who cares what we do in the main? I just led the heat race. So that was pretty sweet. But from that moment on, yeah, it was tough because, you know, it took a while before Jimmy and I got really paid. You know, his dad was wealthy enough to help me keep me afloat, but the both of us were really doing it on nothing.
So is it privateer at this point, or are you on the Geico bike?
Yeah, so we did that whole season on the privateer setup, and then going into 2011, we were privateer setup again, and they had Will Hahn got a injury at the round 1, Anaheim, and Jimmy saw that, and he was like, man, like, you know, what if they call? And I'm like, well, you're ready. Like we've done our off season. We're kind of planning to build you back up for East Coast. But
were you with him that night?
Yes. Yeah, we were in Florida. We were watching Anaheim, and I think like 20 minutes before the night show started, I think it was Ziggy had called Jimmy and said, hey, are you interested? and Jimmy's freaking, and he turned
Dude,
around and
it's so cool to hear this story from your side of things because I was watching the race at Eli's house, and I'm pretty sure Jimmy hung up the phone with Ziggy and called me just freaking out, like so
yeah,
pumped because thanks for all the videos, the exposure, blah blah blah.
right,
But
yeah, oh,
like,
yeah, yeah. He called everyone in his contacts. So yeah, Ziggy reached out.
oh wait, so I wasn't that special.
No, you were. You were probably you were top 3 contacts. So yeah, he. I'm like, yeah, you're ready. I mean, we just had a Christmas vacation, so we took like a week and a half off, just kind of let him come down a little bit from working hard, and we were like, oh, we're gonna build back up for East Coast. And he hadn't even been on the bike for I think 10 days, and we just rode that day. We just got back to Florida to watch the first round. We're obviously preparing for East Coast. And, when they called and I'm like, dude, you're fine. You're ready. Like we go back into it and start this week. And I think that call was Saturday night and we were on a flight Sunday by 10 a.m. and then on the test track on Monday.
So we'll touch on your side of things. You're thrown into it pretty quick here. Like now you're under the umbrella too, right?
Yeah, I wasn't actually able to be Jimmy's wrench. I was just his practice guy, and helping him with helping the team with practice bikes and taking care of Jimmy as far as off the bike stuff, training, whatever. I'd be there. So yes, we are now under the Geico tent, and things just even elevated more, and yeah, he went out for the first race, and I think he ran like 4th for the majority of it. And I think he finished 6th on his first main at the second round. And
was it pretty glamorous? Because I remember a Toronto trip that just felt like nothing different than a NESC race.
Oh yeah, we did Toronto in 2010 together, right? And
oh yeah,
we drove through the night. And
I thought that was 2011 because I thought I remember joking about how we had the Geico bike just out in the back of a truck in some random parking lot backed up against the pole or whatever. But
yeah, that was 2010. We and if we, I don't even know if we should broadcast this, but
which
Jimmy waited till the passport was. If the plan was, if Jimmy couldn't get his passport, we were going to sneak him in through the Canadian border on a snowmobile, and I was going to have to go pick up him and a snowmobile. Well, me and you were, and then drive to the race. And Jimmy was going to be a fucking felon, illegal in Canada, going to race Supercross.
How many people do you think at that race got their passport on the way to the race?
I would say probably just Jimmy.
Oh.
We literally got the passport at Friday 5:30, and I think the place closed at 6, and we were on the road to Toronto at 6:15. And
yep.
What did we have? We probably picked up Geo's on the way, and we drove through the night. We got there at 7 a.m.
Yeah, that was probably the worst way a racer could show up to that race. Drive through the night, eat fast food in the passenger seat the whole way, gamble all your money away on online poker.
Yeah.
Those are my takeaways from that trip.
Yeah, and then we got in, we raced. I think he got 8th that night, and then drove back.
While you were working with him, did you see a change from those early years to, as each year progressed? I think I definitely saw put his head down a little bit more and more as the years went.
Yeah, I feel like that's with anybody. I would say Jimmy's obviously a late bloomer, right?
We're locked out of the gym. We're getting the SOB security.
Yep, come on, back to the workout.
We gotta keep warm. Right there. No, Jimmy, do not get in the car. Jimmy, do not get in the car. He's such a baby, dude. Such a baby. Put it on. Look at him. It's cold.
He showed a lot of potential, but before he started to get results, it took a couple years. He had one season in 2012 where he didn't even race, and that was hard to come back from. And so it took, I think, 13 and 14. He showed some results, and then 15 he was a lot more promising, and then he earned a spot again. And he had, I think, at Geico, He had 2 or 3 heat race wins and a handful of force, which I never actually got a podium with him. He did get a podium his first race without me, which go figure, but that was on JGR. But he knows that, we both, it was a proud moment, I think my guy RJ at the time fell and Jimmy was the next guy and was able to get the podium. And I'm like, well, of course it's going to work out that way, right? That my first podium is blown by RJ and given to Jimmy D. So no better person to hand the result over to.
I want to know, did you know, because you're back home now, did you know that this wasn't going to be something you wanted to do forever, or was it kind of a change of heart within the last year or two?
Yeah. So when I first started it, obviously traveling around, it's a young man's game. And I haven't been living at home since I was 18 years old. And I think when I first started doing the pro racing and when I was 23 or 24 with Jimmy, I knew that, I could run this for a while, but this isn't going to be forever. It's a lot of work, and it can wear on you. And I'm not saying I'm worn out. I didn't get burnt out. I'd like to see my family grow and start a family of my own. So this was something that I always had in the back pocket. It was just when the timing was right, and I found it this year.
How long did you know that you were coming up on the end of your journey?
Do you want me to explain my way out then? What really happened, or?
That's up to you, but I don't know how much you want to say.
Hold on, let me think about how I can say this then. Yeah, I got you. So this year kind of was the last year. It kind of fell into place. Star was moving to Florida. AP was not going to re-sign. And I was kind of in a limbo with KTM on whether or not there was going to be an opening spot for AP. And in this industry, it's tough because you sign contracts for 1 year at a time, maybe 2 if you're lucky, and it's usually between September and October. And I didn't want to find myself get to those months and then not have an opportunity to go with Aaron at KTM and then be almost jobless. So I was able to cover my ends on this back home, and I was able to work a deal and that I could come home and have a job. And if it wasn't this year, it was probably going to be next year, just based on where I am in my life with my wife and being ready to start a family.
So you're back home. Glad to have you. You're in the Portsmouth area, and I know that you've got a few of Justin Allen's bikes next to you.
Yep. Doing some gonna support some local racers. I teamed up with Mike Grundle, and we will be servicing and repairing all his bikes and restoring stuff, and at the same time offer our services to the local talent, and hopefully we pick up some more riders and more bikes to take on and get these kids on track. And look who just pulled up. You want to do?
Yeah.
Jimmy? Gonna do this today.
All right, so Jimmy D, let's talk Oakland, baby.
You want him to do it?
He's on it.
You're helping him sit down.
Well, I'll let you guys go.
Yeah. He says he's gonna hit you up for later. All right. See you, Danny.